Hey guys, if you're like me, then you love a good villain. Sometimes even more so than the hero himself. Villains to me are what make a story so interesting because they are more than just conflict or powerhouse characters and actually present a unique ideology stemmed from their personal backstories. Although their opinions are concrete and plausible, they are also flawed in some ways that can be corrected by the protagonists. We've seen a fair share of great anime villains and I cannot possibly cover them all, so I'm going to discuss my two personal favorites, Pain and Meruem, and explain why they are so entertaining to watch. I'll start off with the most obvious reason why we love these villains, which is strength and leadership. These characters are powerful at the top of the food chain, no pun intended for Meruem. Nagato fights with the 6 paths of pain through deceased ninja corpses, and Meruem is born a king with godly powers. Because of his strength, they lead incredibly powerful groups. Pain is seemingly the leader of the Akatsuki, while Meruem has the Chimera Ants. Although they have underlings, they tend to fight alone and kill immensely powerful characters all by themselves. After seeing Meruem kill Netero and Pain kill Jiraiya and Kakashi, we come to respect and fear their powers. This evokes a feeling of hatred towards them, but we also respect their strength as a real threat that these antagonists could further continue their onslaught to other more important characters. Even though they fight alone, they have characters beneath them that are loyal to them. This loyalty is not just due to the hierarchy or because they fear either Pain or Meruem's power, but it is earned by the way they live and operate. A good example of this is Konan, who despite seeing Nagato lose to Naruto, is still faithful to him and protects him. She is willing to die for him even though he has already been defeated. The royal guards are loyal to Meruem more than because they are biologically designed to. This is best shown when Poof wishes to kill Komugi because he believes it will help Meruem's ruthless reign as a king. But Pitou does the complete opposite and defends Komugi because the king cares for her. It can be best stated that Poof is loyal to the king while Pitou is loyal to Meruem. But regardless of their different levels of loyalty, Meruem states that I am not worthy of their loyalty. These examples prove that a villain is not only great due to his or her physical prowess, but only as good as the people willing to follow him. Another reason these villains are admired is due to their strong connection to the hero. In one way or another, the protagonist and villain reflect each other's traits or beliefs while influencing one another. Pain is not just a villain, but Naruto's direct antagonist. They both believe in peace, but their view on how to achieve it is complete opposite. They have the same sensei, Jiraiya, who was once confused about who the child the prophecy spoke of between Naruto and Nagato. Their power level is extremely similar and they both have the power to destroy as well as bring peace. This strong connection between them makes the villain more appealing because we see a reflection of Nagato in Naruto. Meruem does not have a strong relationship with Gon, but I'm going to use Komugi as a protagonist in the scenario because she is Meruem's greatest opponent and the one who ultimately stops him. No, she did not kill him, but she did flip the switch in his ideology so that he did not kill Netero right away, which led to his demise. Meruem is the embodiment of godhood as he kills off the weak-bodied and minded. But to his surprise, he is not able to beat a simpleton like Komugi in a board game called Gungi. These characters are the direct opposites, Meruem being incredibly powerful, merciless, graceful, and eloquent, while Komugi is weak, ugly, a simpleton, poor, and blind. They are such a complete contrast, yet their ideologies are strongly connected. She tells him of a poor upbringing in a family of 12, and how Gungi is so important to her that losing a game is the same as her life becoming worthless. Her determination of betting her own life on a game without hesitation is totally unexpected and truly touches the king, who admires her devotion and begins to form a bond with her. Their unexpected relationship is what drives our likability to him because he finally has a worthy opponent that is strongly linked to his personality and beliefs. This leads me to my next category, a compelling backstory. All great villains need a compelling backstory that show how their ideologies are formed. Nagato's backstory is told through flashbacks as he recounts his childhood to Naruto, and we see the terrible events of a war that he had to endure as an orphan from the Hidden Rain village. He suffered the death of his parents, psychological torment, homelessness, famine, and the death of his friend. We see how he experienced the torments of war firsthand that made him who he is. Meruem, on the other hand, does not have a backstory because we see his birth and story develop within the story's narrative. Even though he's born a king, he is very much mentally a child, and his upbringing shows the events that form his ideology. It is a compelling story of how he entered the world and what makes him so cruel as a leader because we see everything that went on before his prodigy's birth and the expectation of him in the events after. This is why there is a suspension of disbelief while we watch these villains. Their backstories establish their motives and we come to believe them as real existing characters molded by their history. For a moment we forget that they are fictional because we see them as a whole, which leads us to understanding their clear philosophy and motive. Both Nagato and Meruem have their own morality and mindset that drives them to commit heinous crimes. Nagato adopts Yahiko's principle of understanding of suffering as the backbone of his philosophy. The principle is that one cannot fully understand achieving peace without first suffering the torments of war firsthand. He delivers his philosophy while battling the village citizens and Naruto so that the audience understands the reason behind his actions. Meruem at first believes that strongest should rule and that mankind is unfit to do so. He kills not because of insanity or because he enjoys causing pain, but because humans are insignificantly weak and nothing more than just a food source to him. He does not believe he is committing a crime when killing them. There is a deeper reason than that. It is because he truly believes the weak have no place in the world. In his eyes, the world should be run by the strongest, unlike the human hierarchy where the richest lead. In this sense, both Pain and Meruem have motives behind their actions as they try to accomplish something they believe in. However, these motives are met with the protagonist's beliefs that initiate their character development. By the time their stories are finished, these villains are not the same characters, but show personal growth as they mature into new ideologies and beliefs, or at least expand their views on previous ones. Pain comes to believe in Naruto and changes his personal viewpoint on the prospect of peace. He chooses to believe in not the path of pain, but Naruto's way, so much so that he undoes his actions by sparing the lives of the Leaf Village. He betrays Madara directly and staves off his path of disaster. He also comes to repent killing his old master, Jiraiya. Meruem goes through a moral transformation from an animalistic and inhumane nature to develop a school of thought on what it means to truly be a king. At first, Meruem is the embodiment of evil and shows contempt for the weak, to not even be worth eating. But as the story progresses, we see a change in his psyche. As he meets Komugi and begins losing in a simple game like Gungi, he begins to question his own purpose as a king. He begins to exhibit compassion and think about how he could peacefully live with mankind. He wonders what good is kingship if his people are just mindless slaves, and begins to question the nuances of his own personality and nature. Because of this, we as an audience come to develop empathy for these multidimensional characters. These villains are well-rounded characters, or as I like to call them, multifaceted characters, that feel like fully developed real people. There are other sides to them other than the evilness, with nuances and intricacy. It is rare to empathize with a villain who murders an entire village or devours an innocent child. How is this possible? It is because we empathize with their circumstances as real characters. Nagato despises the great nation's prosperity gained through the suffering of the smaller nations and cannot stand their views of peace. But even though he hates them, he still speaks to them with ample respect and courteous manner. He never disrespects a lower-ranking ninja and sincerely compliments his opponent's skills, even showing love to his subordinates. Even though he kills hundreds without any contrition, he still pays respect to the fallen, ally, and foe alike. Pain is very much the same as Naruto, but unfortunately became the villain due to a more painful past than Naruto. In a way, he is a hero that simply was not given the right circumstances to properly develop into one. He was not born evil, but made evil through the traumatizing and painful events that he endured. We empathize with him because of the reasons behind why he wants to end the cycle of hate. This empathy for him is heightened after he redeems himself by reviving the ones he killed. We know there is a good side to him, one that was lost, but he can never take away his actions nor be forgiven for them. So there is a sadness to him that we as audience members pity his loss, but also respect him because he transitions from wanting to capture the Jinchuriki to praying for his success and freedom. The same can be said of Meruem, who, although was born with unmatched physical abilities, mentally he is very much an infant who comes to know the world and develop an identity. As he comes to understand mankind, he develops admiration, love, and understanding for them and tries to find his own individuality. Even though Meruem will mercilessly kill without hesitation, he ends up doing the most unexpected thing, which is fall in love with a human girl with no physical strength, and not a good looking one either. Meruem, the one who believed himself as the ultimate being, starts to kneel in front of Palm so that she would reveal Komugi's hideout. He could have killed Netero faster, but chose to give him a fighting chance. These are different sides of the villains one would not expect, but they are multifaceted with more than one dimension and can surprise you with honorable actions even though they perform heinous acts. I mean, when was the last time you cried about a merciless villain's love story? Overall, when these villains are on the screen, they grasp our attention because of their power, ruthlessness, unique perspectives, and layered personalities. It is hard not to fall in love with them because they are deep and have meaning behind their actions. I hope to do another video like this soon, talk about more amazing villains, but until then, have a great day, YouTube.